Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of ARK Survival Evolved. Today we're here on the island, and to get things started we're going to be unlocking some greenhouse structures. That is because today I would like to start farming some of the plants that are available in ARK, and we will want to use some greenhouse structures to try and get the most efficiency out of the crop plots. So we are going to need to go harvest some more metal and crystal. However, we do have our granite, and we just recently tamed an Argentavis, so transporting granite from the mountain and the base was a lot easier. He is unfortunately rather slow on his own, but now that we have the RG, it won't be too difficult. We can just fly him to and fro. And he does collect a substantial amount of metal. The only limiting factor is really the carry weight, and luckily for us though, the Anklo does have a weight reduction as long as we leave the metal in his inventory, so we can take a large amount back with us, and we'll get that loaded into our forge. In fact, it might not be a terrible idea to construct a second forge, just so we can smelt the metal that much faster. And it definitely will come in handy because the greenhouse structures take a surprising amount of metal to craft, even though they are mostly glass. So let's get this metal loaded into the refining forges and get that started. We might want to grab a little bit more wood for that second forge, but in the meantime we're going to go and harvest some crystal quickly with granite. He is also very good at harvesting crystal. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the weight reduction though, so we can take a lot less back with us, but it should be fine. We don't need too much crystal. The greenhouses are rather small, but they should work for our purposes today at least. So we're gonna get this crystal loaded into the smithy, and we should be able to craft a few of our greenhouse walls now, and perhaps the door frame, so we can get in and out. Let's grab the metal that's been smelting while we've been on our little expedition for crystal, and we'll see what we can get crafted here. We don't have too much metal, but it should suffice for the time being. Let's just work on making these door frames, and then hopefully we can finish off the walls. We might have to do another crystal run before we can build the ceiling fully, but for the time being we can at least get the walls in place, and I can show you the location of the greenhouse. So let's get these walls crafted, and we'll go place them. So where I want to put the greenhouse, I already have the foundation placed, is just out the back of our little hidden lake base. The reason for this is, well, first of all, I think it will look kind of nice to have a little greenhouse section back here, but also the hidden lake in the middle of the valley here is just right back behind our house, so running water to the greenhouses will be fairly easy, I would hope, seeing as we don't have to do too much pipe work. We just have to get it right up into the greenhouse, and it can irrigate our crops, and it should work fine, I hope. So let's get the other side placed in, and then we can work on building the roofing for these greenhouses. Let's get the door frame here, and that will enable us to get in and out from either the outside, or if we need to get in from the base, we have two doors just in case, but whatever you need a second door for, I suppose. But in the meantime, we could get the crop plots placed down. I think we are going to use medium-sized crop plots just to make them fit a little bit nicer. Perhaps in the future we could look into building a larger greenhouse not attached to the house, and then we could use the larger crop plots, but for our purposes today, the medium crop plots will do just fine. So we'll get these in place, and we'll do four crop plots per little greenhouse, and that should enable us to do two of each crop in ARK, because there are four of them. I forget the names. I believe there's the savaroot, which are sort of the potatoes. There's the long grass, which is the corn. There's the citronal, which are the sort of the lemons, and then I forget the last one. I think it's rocket, sort of carrots. So we'll have to go collect some seeds for those, and then we can get those planted. We also will need a little more crystal to do the roof, so We're going to head out on a quick second metal run and hurry and run that home. Luckily, our hidden lake base is positioned between two mountains, so the resources like crystal and metal are fairly readily available. Also, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to acquire a little bit of obsidian while we're out here. We are going to need to be making polymer soon, and one of the materials required for that is obsidian, so we might just take that home with us and try and see how much of these resources we can actually carry. Granite unfortunately did slip down the side of the mountain because I couldn't pick him up with the RG. I think if we drop half of our obsidian, we should be able to pick him up. I do want to try and take home as much crystal as possible. That is our main reason for coming up here. The obsidian is just sort of an extra little material I'd like to grab while we're out here. Let's drop a bit of our stakes, and I suppose we could drop another half of our obsidian. We don't need a lot of it right now. However, it is nice to have just a little for the time being, and that crystal we got should enable us to finish up our greenhouses. We just need to craft the roofs, and that should give us the full greenhouse effect for our crops, which is, I believe, 300%. Even if we don't get the full greenhouse effect, as long as we get close, it should give us enough efficiency when it comes to growing the crops. And let's go place the roof on the second little greenhouse, and then we should probably look into taming a dinosaur that can help fertilize these. That would be a Phiomia, because we don't really have access to a dung beetle right now, so it would probably be a good idea to go and tame a Phiomia. It doesn't really matter the level, as long as we just find one. There's this level 8 that's sort of close to our base, I noticed on our metal runs, so we're just going to grab him and take him home. Again, the level doesn't really matter because their only purpose is going to be to produce manure for our farm, so we'll just throw this guy in the taming pen, and he shouldn't take more than an arrow or two to knock out. Let's also put Swoop on passive just in case he decides to attack this Phiomia, and we'll do our best here not to hit it in the head. I can imagine this crossbow does a lot of damage, and a Phiomia doesn't have that much health. It does look like 2 arrows was enough to knock it out, fortunately, though. So let's grab some berries, and we'll hurry and tame this Phiomia. I'm not sure on a name for now. I believe they're just going to remain Phiomia. Perhaps we'll come up with a name later, but in the meantime, I'll show you what a Phiomia does. We'll hurry and fly them back to the base and grab some stem berries off of our Therizino, and we can feed him these stem berries, and it will make him poop quite a lot. It does make him rather hungry, so it might not be a bad idea to get him some normal berries just so he doesn't die. But mainly it just makes him poop a lot, and we can use his poop as fertilizer for our farms. So we'll just get as much as we can here, and then we will probably have to go store this in the refrigerator for the time being until we are ready to plant our crops. However, we do have a fair amount of Phiomia poo now, and that should not. Yeah, that will be fine. It won't spoil for a while. Also, I did grab some narco berries so we could start crafting some narcotics for future taming adventures, and we'll just have that crafting just for future uses. We also need to run some piping up to our greenhouses, so let's hurry and put that in place. We'll need an inlet pipe here on the ground, and we'll try and get that lined up as straight as possible. That seems to be lined up just fine. And then we'll come over here and get the second one lined up, hopefully straight as possible. We also want to try and get it close. Even if it's not in the water, as long as it's green, it will be taking in water, and that will just let us spend less pipes actually running the irrigation up to our crops. And this should be close enough that if we run one more straight pipe in, it should reach all of our crop plots with water. At least I would hope so. So let's put the tap on there, and we can check the irrigation. Let's see, 400 out of 400, and that should be perfectly fine for our crops to grow. Now all we need to do is set up the other pipe on our other greenhouse, and then for whatever reason, our Therizino Freddy was not collecting the seeds we need, so I I used Tang, and he's having no problem collecting the seeds for the crops we need, so I'm not sure why that is, but as long as we're able to actually acquire some of those seeds, we'll take them, and we're going to do 2 crops, or I guess 2 crop plots of each crop, so let's place in this one, we'll do the sav root, which is sort of like a potato, and I think I equipped the seed. I guess you can only place 1 seed per crop plot, which kind of makes sense. We'll just have some leftover seeds, I suppose, and that should be fine in case we do end up actually expanding our greenhouse. Then we will have seeds readily available. And then in this these front 2 crop plots, we will plant the rocket, which are sort of carrots. At least they look like carrots. They are called rockets, however, and that should be good for this this greenhouse. And then in our other greenhouse, our second one, we can plant the other 2 crops. Let's get these fertilized first, however. And we should have plenty of fertilizer left over, and we'll plant in this front the long grass, these front 2 crop plots, which is sort of like a corn crop. And then in the back 2, we'll do the last one, which is the citrus plant, which when it's fully grown, it sort of looks like a lemon. And it should be good to grow from here. I suppose we could use the rest of our fertilizer just while we have it before it decomposes, and we can always get more from our Phiomia if needs be. However, for the meantime, our crops should be prepared to grow, and then hopefully next time we'll be able to harvest them. So anyway, I believe we are going to leave the video here, so I hope everyone did enjoy. Definitely a productive day, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.